Alright, guys. Recently in chat, I've been saying all kinds of things about communism. Had a relatively lengthy discussion, and I've made some claims that are not true. Um, Kind of a basic mistake, really, but part of it is my brain is all too fuck lately. I'm having like, it's hard to describe, issues to where I'm conflating certain concepts and they're kind of running into other ones. And part of it is due to my medication. I'm off one of them, and I've just been really strange lately anyway with sleep issues and shit that I'm working on getting figured out. But regardless of all that, I made some claims that are not correct. So just to kind of go over some basic stuff here. Both communism and socialism are economic policies that advocate toward public rather than private forms of ownership, most notably the means of production, distribution, and exchange of goods. Most people know this. Both aim to address the problems created, in their view, from a free market capitalist system, especially the exploitation of workers and massive income inequality gaps. Socialism as we know it was born to address the issues faced by workers during the Industrial Revolution, both social and financial. Workers kept getting more and more poor, while factory owners and other industrialists kept getting more wealthy. There were many different forms created by several prominent socialist thinkers, especially at its onset. Then came Karl Marx, who argued that all of history was a story of class struggles, and eventually the proletariat or working class would triumph over the bourgeoisie, or capital class. Marx's ideas created communism as we know it. There is no private property under communism, whereas socialists allow private ownership, but industrial production is communally owned and democratically allocated for the most part. A violent uprising is generally considered inevitable as a phase of achieving true communism, while socialism tends to prefer change and reform by working with the system currently in place, if possible. Unlike communism, socialism rewards individual effort and innovation. Social democracy, the most common form of socialism, tries to achieve social reforms and redistribution of wealth through democratic processes and can and oftentimes does coexist with a free market capitalist economy. So, I was reading about a very specific socialist thinker and somehow conflated it in my head that that was communism. So I can't remember the names of everyone involved. I know Brian, one of the two Brians. I think it was Stewart, but I could be mistaken on that. Gucci, a couple of other people were involved, and I made a whole lot of claims during this. So uh, there was, I don't remember all of it, but one of the claims was that basically you don't own anything. I think Andy was involved too. But anyway, one of the claims was that you don't own anything, and that is technically true under communism. I made the claim that that is not true and that that's propaganda, and it's because I was confused. So, yeah, I do stand by one claim that I made, though. I am not a communist, but I do not believe that we've ever seen communism in practice. And the reason why as I've already pretty much went over, not here, but in chat, we've never had unhindered communism. And what I mean by unhindered is since the onset, even in countries completely, well, definitely within, but especially with countries that are powerful and control a whole lot of capital, um, they would immediately, the moment they heard about it, they would try to destroy it by any means necessary. In fact, it's a big part of a whole lot of the United States wars historically. There would always be claims like stopping dictators, blah, 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 but it's very obvious that it was a. I mean, we all know what the Red Scare was about. And it's been going on since the very beginning. They were desperately afraid that communism would catch on. And they started whatever it took. They would have like CIA interventions and like drum up like false flag shit. Sometimes they would have legitimate reasons, of course, but my point is, it has always been fucked with. We don't have any clear, like, when people make the claim, communism just has hundreds of thousands of dead bodies, etc. Like, I don't think that's a legitimate talking point, because that isn't communism. Like, when I say that isn't communism, the person that did that, or like I assume you're talking about Stalin and other people, Mao. Those people, yes, they did employ communism in their government. However, it wasn't what it's supposed to be. It's them taking the concept and finding that it's an easy method in which they can grab the reins of power and then basically do whatever the fuck they want. And that included killing people and shit. While I definitely don't advocate for it, it is not like this inevitable situation to where just you kill your own citizen. That's just pure propaganda horseshit. I'm sorry, but it is. So it's not like this guaranteed automatic thing. So I do stand by that. But I made several claims that weren't true about ownership, about, I can't remember all of it. My brain's all the fuck right now. But essentially, the easiest way to explain it is I got a specific form of socialism, mainly social democracy, somehow mixed up with communism. So yeah, I am definitely not for communism. I I don't think that that sort of system, although I don't think it's ever been really put to the test, so to speak, I don't think, at least uh, in, I can't think, in theory, I don't think that it could ever work because it doesn't address issues involving human nature. It doesn't address the need for competition, at least in some industries, in my opinion. And it doesn't deal with effort and innovation in the way that it should. And it kind of just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it would work the way that it was intended. But me personally, I'm all for social democracy, and it's kind of what I was trying to get at in the first place. I just got my shit all fucked up. So, yeah. Uh, the funny thing is, I was basically saying that I would do a video on communism so that I could correct people. And that basically it would make it easier because I'm putting it all out on video and it stays there. So you can just fact check all of my claims. And if I'm wrong, you could easily prove it. And while in the process of creating that video, I realized what I had done, and I'm like, oh shit. So yeah, my mistake on that one. I believe that pretty much covers everything I wanted to say. Thank you for your time.